You know, I've had an insight into the Omega killings. I was listening to the interview room tonight, and they started to say about the ledge that Brian Koberger, suspect in the Idaho murders, that there was this like little ridge or hill behind the house, and depending on where you sat on the hill, you could see in the three different layers of the Kings Road home, and the windows were not draped. And he apparently was a voyeur. Well, Bundy was a voyeur, and he'd been in prison for 1 or 2 years already. It was 78, so close to 3 years he'd been in prison from like October of 75. Oh yeah, like 3 years. When they talk about Chi Omega, they talk about the door lock, whether it wasn't shutting right, and so on and so forth. They talk about the disco next door, and two or three of the girls had been in the disco. Kathy Kleiner talks about a bright light coming into their room on the second floor from the parking lot. Well, that indicates that maybe there wasn't a window covering. And I pulled up a picture from back then. There was a little brick retaining wall out by the sidewalk. Now, you could sit there and somebody might say, what is this guy doing sitting there? But he could say, I'm waiting for my friend who's going to give me a lift or something. You just sit there in the evening and watch things. You face the street some of the time and face the house some of the time. And if somebody questioned it, you just say, well, no, I was waiting on a ride or something. I don't know what the back parking lot was like, but if the windows were not draped, or at least not all draped, you could see the people at least walking around in their pajamas, maybe, I don't know. The bedrooms obviously would probably be draped, but the common areas might not have been draped. And I said, well, am I wrong about this? There were pretty big windows. And there was a picture I found where they're kind of lit up, but there were curtains, but you could see part of the way in. So I'm thinking, forget about the door lock, forget about the disco. Was Bundy outside that house peeping Tom? In other words, he was watching that and aiming to look in there at some point, and then he went crazy and went in and killed people. But what I'm saying is, the lights were turned off on the inside because obviously after he got in, he didn't want somebody else on the outside to see a man walking the hallways. So he had dimmed the lights. He dimmed the lights because he knew from his voyeuristic activity that you could see into that house. Thank you. 50 years down the road, Mary has a new insight. He was watching the house from the outside. Not that you could see that much, but you certainly could see people. I've been to the University of Florida, the swamp, and if it was nighttime and the lights were on in certain suite areas of the thing, you could see people walking around, going down the stairs and doing things. All right, thank you.